So if you think your wristwatch is complicated, just wait.
Yeah, the sources we're digging into today are on another level entirely.
We are climbing into what the material calls the celestial clocks.
It's an incredibly detailed framework.
Hmm.
It basically outlines this idea that timekeeping isn't random at all.
It's dictated.
Exactly, by these, very precise celestial patterns that are deliberately woven into prophecy.
And the sources, they really posit that Earth is the fulcrum of all time.
Right, the center point. The Creator, referred to as Jehovah, set the sun, moon, and stars in place for a reason.
Not just as, pretty lights in the sky.
No, not at all. They're actual instruments for telling time. Instruments designed to track both chronology and covenant.
And the entire system, according to this, it hinges on a principle from Scripture.
It does, specifically Matthew 6.910.
Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
That's the one. The idea is that there's a perfect mirror between the spiritual and the physical. So if that's true,
then the heavens have to be this incredibly organized divine timeline.
precisely.
Well, that sets up our mission perfectly then. Let's unpack this system of synchronicity.
Let's do it.
Okay, so if the heavens are the blueprint, we need to start with a mechanism. How do the sources say this giant cosmic clock actually works?
The foundation is Genesis. It's right there at the beginning. The sun, moon, and stars were made for two main reasons, both for mankind.
Okay, what are they?
First, just to measure time chronologically, and second, to serve as signs for what they call divine appointments.
So they don't just count time, they point to specific moments.
That's it. Predetermined moments in the future.
The sources gave us a pretty simple way to picture this, almost like a teaching tool.
They did, yeah. It's a very accessible analogy. They ask you to just visualize a standard wall clock.
Okay.
So in this analogy, the sun, which moves slowly across the Mazzaroth.
Which is the Hebrew term for the Zodiac, right? The 12 constellations.
Exactly. The 12 celestial stations. So the sun is the small hand, the hour hand.
Hold on, but if we're talking about what we see in the sky, doesn't the moon move a lot faster through its cycles?
That's a really good question. And it gets at the complexity underneath the simple analogy.
Right.
While the moon's cycle is definitely faster, the source material is focused on that traditional clock function. So they assign the moon the role of the big hand.
The minute hand.
Yep, because its quicker monthly cycle can measure the smaller increments inside the sun's big year-long journey through the 12 stations.
So sun tracks the hour of the year, which is its position in the Mazzaroth. The moon then fine-tunes the month. What about the faster stuff?
The stars and the planets, they act as the seconds hand.
Oh, okay.
They're tracking the much smaller day-to-day increments and specific alignments. The whole point is that the combination, the sun's station and the moon's phase, tells you the exact celestial time.
And that time dictates the divine calendar.
That's the idea.
So if the sky is the clock face, how does that translate down here to things we actually experience, like seasons? This is where it got really interesting for me.
Right, so we move into the earthly echoes. The framework is very clear that the celestial clock's position directly controls what happens on Earth.
But with a specific point of view.
A very specific one, yes. The entire analysis is from a northern hemispheric perspective.
And from up north, what does that tell us about time and climate?
It says that the constellations you see mainly in the night sky correspond directly to the winter season.
Okay.
And conversely, the constellations that are dominant in the day sky align with the summer season.
So there's this absolute predictable alignment that dictates our whole climate cycle every year.
It's a direct echo. But it's not just climate. The sources claim there's this universal pattern of four that links everything.
From the stars all the way down to the fabric of creation.
Precisely. This is kind of the genius of the source material. It connects the universe with this consistent number, 4.
So what are the 4 things?
Well, the text proposed 4 foundational elements of creation. And these elements get represented symbolically.
By gold, silver, bronze, and iron.
Yes. And those correspond to the 4 main cardinal points, the 4 stations of the seasons. Pretty much everything. It sets up a structural grid of 4 across all of time and space.
I see. So the metals aren't the literal elements. They're more like placeholders to identify these components across prophecy and history.
Exactly. They're symbolic keys.
Before we dig into how that tracks the ages, let's just circle back to the math. It was really meticulous.
Oh, it's very rigorous. It's meant to show the creator's precision. A full period is broken into 4 stages. You have 1 day, which is 1 night, and 1 day.
12 hours each, 24 total.
Right. And the sources emphasize the math behind it. 24 hours times 60 minutes gives you 1,440 minutes in a day.
And they also pointed out that 2.4 days equals 144 hours. Why that number? Why 144?
Well, it's not arbitrary. That number 144, it shows up a lot in Scripture, usually tied to measurement, completion, that sort of thing.
So by showing that 2.4 days fits perfectly into 144 hours, they're making a point.
Exactly. The point is that time is built on a divinely precise, calculable grid. It's not this random fluid thing we think it is.
That mathematical grid takes us right into the heart of the prophetic timeline, doesn't it? Segment 3.
It really does. The universal pattern of the four elements and the eons, this is where astronomy starts tracking deep prophetic history.
And the source is very clear, this progression of the four elements: gold, silver, bronze, iron. This is the universal pattern that defines the great eons.
Yes, the celestial clock is literally keeping track of the rise and fall of these ages.
And according to these sources, there have been 4 prior worlds that have passed away or been
Correct.
superseded,
And they're all tracked by this clock. You have the first one, the Age of Gold.
which they connect to the ancient age of Aquarius.
And the second, the Age of Silver. Third is the Age of Bronze.
And fourth, the age of iron, our current age.
The one we're living in now.
What's just fascinating here is the sheer scale of time we're talking about. They even calculate how long an eon is.
They do. They tie it directly to a massive astronomical cycle, the precession of the equinoxes.
Which takes, what, almost 26,000 years.
Roughly, yeah. 25,920 years. The calculation they show is 6 parts times 4,320 years, which gives you that total.
So each eon, each age, is 4,320 years long.
That's the duration they assign to it.
So they're basically saying that the prophetic timeline has real astronomical weight. The precession cycle itself is the clock face for the ages of man.
It is. And to really nail this down, the source then gives 3 powerful examples where these exact same 4 metals show up in major biblical stories.
To show synchronicity.
Complete synchronicity between the heavenly blueprint, sacred objects, and even earthly power.
Okay, let's break those down. This is the real insight here. Where do the 4 elements appear?
First up is prophetic rule. They define the structure of the metallic Messiah figure.
From Nebuchadnezzar's dream, the one Daniel interpreted.
That's the one. The statue starts with a head of gold, a pure, glorious kingdom, and then it declines in value.
Chest of silver, belly of bronze.
And finally, feet of iron mixed with clay, representing the fragile, broken kingdoms of the end times.
So the decay of the metals in the statue perfectly mirrors the decline of the 4 ages, from gold down to iron. What's the second point of synchronicity?
As found in sacred structure, these same 4 elements, gold, silver, bronze, iron, are the mandated materials for building the tabernacle of Moses,
And later the Temple of Solomon.
and later the temple. Gold was for the most sacred parts, the Holy of Holies. Silver for sockets and connections. Bronze for the big outer altar, representing judgment.
Wow. So the very materials used for worship on Earth were coated with the same elements that track all of world history. That's a powerful link.
It's a deep connection. And the third parallel is earthly dominion.
Okay.
The sources link the metals to the 4 beasts from Daniel's prophecy, which are foretold to rule the earth until the Messiah returns.
And each beast represents a great world power, one after the other.
Exactly. So the pattern is universal. The history of empires, the blueprint for sacred buildings, and the timeline of the universe itself are all coded with the same 4 metallic stages.
It's a genuine unifying theory that the source is presenting.
It connects every single major point of destiny to the movements of the stars. But like you said, the story doesn't end with the Iron Age.
Right. And that takes us to segment 4, which pushes us into the future, the coming 5th age.
The celestial clock is tracking the end of our current Age of Iron and the start of something completely new.
And the sources call this the age to come.
Right. A 5th element and a 5th age. It begins when Jesus sets up the millennial kingdom on earth.
A 1,000-year reign from Jerusalem.
That's right. It
Wow.
serves as a transition period before eternity future really begins.
So the first 4 ages were defined by this declining destructive pattern of the metals. But the 5th age is a shift to something perfect, unified.
A whole new chronological measure. But time isn't just about these huge 4,000-year cycles.
It's also about specific moments.
Exactly. The sources shift focus from that linear time to what they call divine appointments.
The modem of Jehovah.
The Modim, yes. It's the Hebrew for appointed times, or feasts. And the material is very clear that the sun and moon were set up not just to measure years, but to signal these specific appointments.
And they're described as prophetic dress rehearsals. Which specific feasts are we talking about here?
The sources highlight three key ones: Passover, Pentecost, and Rosh Hashanah.
Okay.
They're described as the main dress rehearsals that track the fulfillment of specific prophecies about the Messiah. And to observe them correctly, you need precise timing from the lunar and solar cycles.
So the celestial clock is doing double duty. It's tracking the massive eons and also alerting people to these very specific annual prophetic milestones.
It is.
So what's the ultimate relevance of all this for you, the listener?
It all comes down to accountability and covenant. The sources state that these appointments, these modim, were meant to be kept by people in a specific covenant promise.
Sealed through the blood of the Lamb.
Yes, it just reinforces that central idea that the movement of the heavens and time itself are deeply tied to human destiny and obedience. The universe is running on a precise calendar.
It's an incredible scope. From the sun and moon's mechanics to a history of 4 destroyed worlds, all coated in metals, all leading to a 5th era. The universe isn't accidental.
No, it's a meticulously engineered clock built around the Earth, designed to guide prophecy and covenant. That synthesis is the key takeaway.
The sun and moon, divinely set to clock time, giving us both chronological measurement and prophetic signs.
All linked through that universal fourfold pattern.
And here's the question, if the clocks were set for a purpose, to track the ages, to track prophecy, what happens when that purpose is fulfilled?
And that raises a really important question. What is the ultimate fate of the celestial clock?
Right.
The sources give a profound final thought on time itself. They point to scripture that declares after the 1,000-year reign of Christ on earth, he will make a new heaven and a new earth.
And for time, what does that new creation mean?
The critical line is, thereafter no more time shall be.
Wow.
The function of the sun and moon as time tellers, as the small hand and the big hand, it will cease. When the prophetic need for time is over, the clock stops.
The calendar, the clock, the ages of man.
Yeah.
All superseded by timeless eternity.
A staggering thought.
It really is. If the clock stops when prophecy is fulfilled, what element or what dimension defines that eternal reality? We'll leave you to dive deeper into that yourself.